Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Daily English, the podcast where learning English becomes simple, practical, and enjoyable. I'm Alex.
And I'm Sarah. Welcome to another episode where we don't just learn English from textbooks, we learn how real English works in real conversations.
Exactly. Here at Daily English, our goal is simple. We want to help you understand English naturally, speak with confidence, and stop feeling nervous every time you open your mouth.
Because we know something very important. Learning English is not always easy. Sometimes you study grammar for months. You memorize hundreds of words. You watch English videos. You practice exercises. But then someone asks you a simple question in English, and suddenly your brain says, "Sorry, English is temporarily unavailable."
Yes, it's like your brain has a little loading screen. Please wait, searching for English words.
Loading. 5%, 20%, 50%.
99%.
And then the conversation is already finished.
The other person has already answered their own question, made tea, checked their phone, and gone home.
Exactly. And if this happens to you, we want you to know something. You are not bad at English. You are not slow, and you are definitely not the only person experiencing this.
Millions of English learners around the world face the same problem. They know English, but when they need to speak, their brain creates a sentence in their native language first. Then they translate it, then they check grammar, then they worry about mistakes, and by that time, the moment has disappeared.
So today, we are answering a very important question. Why do you still translate in your head? And more importantly, how can you stop?
In this episode, we will talk about why your brain translates, why translation slows down your speaking, how fluent speakers think differently, and practical exercises that can train your brain to think directly in English.
And don't worry, this episode is not just theory. We're going to give you simple techniques that you can start using today, even if you are a beginner, even if you feel stuck, even if you think, "I have been learning English for years, but I still can't speak naturally."
There is hope. Your brain can change, your English can improve, and small daily practice can create big results.
Before we begin, if you enjoy learning English with natural conversations like this, make sure you subscribe to Daily English, turn on notifications, and share this podcast with someone who is also learning English.
Because learning becomes easier when we learn together.
So, find a comfortable place, put on your headphones, and let's begin today's episode. Why you still translate in your head and how to stop. Alex, let's start with a simple question. When learners say, "I translate in English in my head," what exactly is happening inside their brain?
That's a great question. Imagine you hear someone say, "Are you hungry?" A fluent English speaker usually hears those words and immediately connect them with the meaning. They think about hunger. They think about food. They think about their answer. Maybe, "Yes, I'm really hungry," or "No, I'm okay."
Right. The connection is direct. English, meaning, response.
Exactly. But many learners have another process. They hear, "Are you hungry?" Then their brain says, "Okay, wait, what does this mean in my language?" Then, "How should I answer?" Then, "How do I translate my answer back into English?"
So one simple question becomes a huge mental project.
Exactly. It is like someone asks, "What time is it?" And your brain opens a full business meeting.
Everyone is there?
Everyone, the grammar manager, the vocabulary manager, the pronunciation manager, the confidence manager.
And the fear manager is always present.
Oh yes, the fear manager says, "Careful, don't make a mistake."
And that is where many learners get stuck, because they are not only speaking English, they are fighting with their own thoughts.
But here is something important. If you translate in your head, do not feel frustrated. Do not think, "My English is terrible," because actually, translation is a normal stage of learning.
Exactly. When you learn a new language, your brain needs a bridge. Your native language becomes that bridge.
Think about a baby learning to walk. At first, they need support. maybe a chair, maybe someone holding their hand. But slowly, they become independent.
Learning English works the same way. At first, English word, native language, meaning. But with practice, English word, meaning.
That is the goal. Not to hate translation, not to completely remove your first language, but to build a faster connection with English.
Let's make this even clearer. Imagine someone asks, "What did you do yesterday?" A learner who translates might think, "Okay, yesterday means now I need to create an answer." They may spend 10 seconds thinking.
Then they finally say, "Yesterday I was doing many activities which were very enjoyable and interesting."
Very formal, almost like a job interview.
Exactly. But a natural answer could simply be, "I stayed home and watched a movie."
Simple, clear, natural.
Fluency is not about creating the most complicated sentence. It is about expressing your ideas comfortably.
And I want to say something to everyone listening. If you have ever felt embarrassed because you couldn't answer quickly in English, if you have ever thought, "I know this word, but why can't I say it?" Please remember, you are not failing. Your brain is learning a new system.
Every fluent English speaker was once a beginner. Every confident speaker once made mistakes. The difference is, they kept practicing. They kept speaking. They allowed themselves to be imperfect.
And that is exactly what we want you to do.
We're going to talk about why your brain depends on translation, how school learning sometimes creates this habit, and why learning individual words may actually slow down your fluency.
We're talking about a problem that almost every English learner experiences. Why do you still translate in your head, and how can you train your brain to think more naturally in English?
We talked about what translation really means and why it happens. Now let's go deeper. Why does your brain depend on translation, and why is it sometimes so difficult to break this habit?
Alex, many learners ask this question. If translation slows me down, why does my brain keep doing it?
That is actually a very smart question, and the answer is simple. Because your brain is trying to help you.
Help you?
Yes. Your brain is not your enemy. It is not trying to make English difficult. Your brain simply chooses the safest and fastest path it already knows.
So your brain says, "I know this person's native language very well. Let's use that first."
Exactly. Imagine you move to a new city. At first, you need a map. You check every street, you look at every sign, you ask people for directions. But after living there for years, you don't need the map anymore. You just know where to go.
So translation is like a mental map.
Exactly. In the beginning, it is useful, but eventually, you want your brain to know the roads directly.
Let's talk about something many learners can relate to: school.
Yes, for many people, English learning started with translation.
A teacher writes, "Beautiful equals blank."
And students write the meaning in their language.
Then important equals blank. Difficult equals blank. Opportunity equals blank.
And slowly, your brain learns English word translation.
Exactly. The problem is not that this method is useless. It can help beginners understand vocabulary quickly.
The problem happens when it becomes your only method.
Right, because speaking requires speed. You cannot have a translator inside your head checking every sentence.
Imagine carrying a tiny translator everywhere. Someone asks, "How was your weekend?" Your brain translator says, "Please wait, searching database."
Weekend answer found, preparing sentence, checking grammar. Please wait another 5 minutes.
Meanwhile, the person asking the question has already started talking about their weekend.
Exactly.
Now let's discuss one of the biggest mistakes English learners make: learning words without context.
Yes, many learners create huge vocabulary lists, hundreds, sometimes thousands of words.
And they feel proud because they know many words.
But then they try to speak and realize, I know the words, but I cannot make sentences.
Why does this happen?
Because language is not just individual words. Language is patterns.
Can you explain that?
Sure. Imagine you learn the word decision. You memorize decision is a choice. Great. But when you speak, you need to know how people actually use it. For example, I need to make a decision. It was a difficult decision. I haven't made a decision yet.
So instead of storing one word, your brain stores a complete useful pattern.
Exactly. And patterns come faster during conversations.
Let's show our listeners what happens when we translate word by word.
Good idea. Imagine someone wants to say, I'm looking forward to meeting you.
A learner may translate each word. I am looking forward to meeting.
And they think, wait, why am I looking forward? Where am I looking?
Maybe they are looking forward because they lost something behind them.
Exactly. But the phrase simply means, I'm excited about meeting you.
This is why learning phrases is so powerful, because you learn the meaning as a whole.
Now let's talk about perfection. This is a huge problem.
Especially for serious students, they study grammar carefully. They want every sentence to be perfect.
And that is a good quality. But during speaking, it can become a problem.
Because conversation is not a grammar competition.
Exactly. Imagine someone asks, what did you eat today? A natural answer, I had rice and chicken. Simple.
But some learners think, okay, I need advanced vocabulary. I need a complex sentence. I need to impress this person.
And after 30 seconds, they finally say, today I consumed a delicious meal consisting of...
You sound like a restaurant review.
Exactly. The person just wanted to know your lunch.
Natural English is usually simpler than learners imagine.
Now we need to talk about something emotional. Fear.
Yes, many learners are not struggling because they don't know English.
They are struggling because they are afraid.
They think, what if I say something wrong? What if someone laughs? What if my pronunciation is bad?
And because of this fear, they prepare every sentence before speaking.
They create a perfect sentence in their first language, then they translate it, then they check it, then they finally speak.
But here's the truth. Mistakes are part of learning.
Think about children. When children learn their first language, they make thousands of mistakes.
They say funny things, they create wrong sentences, they pronounce words incorrectly.
But nobody tells them, stop speaking until your grammar is perfect.
Exactly. They learn because they keep trying.
Alex, I remember when I first learned another language. The hardest moment was not studying. It was speaking.
Why?
Because I knew the words, I knew the grammar, but when someone looked at me and asked a question, my confidence disappeared.
Many learners experience that.
Yes, I remember someone asked me a very simple question, and I knew the answer, but my brain was thinking so much that I became silent.
What happened?
I smiled and said, sorry, my brain is currently updating.
Honestly, that is a perfect description.
But after more practice, I learned something important. I didn't need perfect English. I needed comfortable English.
That is a powerful idea. Comfort before perfection.
Another reason people translate too much, they don't hear enough English.
Exactly. Your brain needs examples. Lots of examples.
Think about music. If you listen to a song many times, eventually you know the lyrics automatically.
You don't stop and analyze every word, you just know it.
Language works similarly. The more English you hear, the more patterns your brain recognizes.
This is why listening practice is so important. Podcasts, videos, conversations, stories, anything that gives your brain natural English.
Let's give our listeners a small challenge. Right now, look around you. Choose one object. Anything.
Now, describe it in English. For example, this is my phone. It is black. I use it every day.
Notice what we are doing. We're not translating, we're connecting English directly with reality.
This is how you train your brain. Small moments, repeated every day.
So today, we discovered something important. Your brain translates because it is trying to help you. But you can train your brain to create faster English connections.
Remember, do not fight your brain. Train your brain. Now we are going to share the most practical section, how to actually stop translating in your head. We'll talk about thinking in simple English, learning phrases instead of words, self-talk exercises, shadowing practice,
daily routines that build fluency.
This is where you can start changing your English habits. This is the most practical part of today's episode. So far, we have talked about why you translate in your head. We learned that your brain is not your enemy. Your brain is simply using a habit that it has built over time.
And now we are going to answer the biggest question. How can you actually stop translating and start thinking more naturally in English?
Now, remember something important. You will not wake up tomorrow and suddenly think only in English.
Unfortunately, there is no magic button, no English thinking button, no secret app, no special drink that gives you fluency.
Although if someone creates that drink, I would like to try it.
Me too. Maybe 1 cup of coffee and instant English confidence.
Exactly. But until that exists, we need something better. Practice. Small, consistent, intelligent practice.
Alex, many learners hear the advice, think in English, but they ask, how do I do that?
That's a great question. Many people make a mistake. They try to think about complicated things immediately.
For example?
They wake up in the morning and think, I will now analyze global economic changes and discuss my personal philosophy about life.
Before breakfast?
Before coffee.
That is dangerous.
Exactly. Your first thought of the day is usually, I'm tired. I need coffee. Where's my phone?
Very deep thoughts.
Yes, very advanced philosophy. But actually, these simple thoughts are perfect practice.
Start with the things you already do every day. When you wake up, think, I'm awake. It's morning. I need to get up. I'm sleepy.
When you brush your teeth, I'm brushing my teeth. The water is cold. I need a new toothbrush.
When you make food, I'm making breakfast. I'm cutting vegetables. The coffee is hot.
These sentences may seem too easy, but they are building something very important, a direct connection between your life and English.
Some learners think, simple English is not enough. I need advanced vocabulary.
But fluency begins with simple things. Think about children. Children don't start with complicated sentences. They start with, Mom, water, I'm hungry, I want that.
Then, slowly, their language grows.
First, simple thoughts. Then, simple conversations. Then, complex ideas.
Now, let's talk about one of the biggest secrets of fluent speakers. They do not think word by word.
Exactly. They remember groups of words. These groups are called chunks. Chunks are like ready-made pieces of language. Imagine building a house. You can create every brick yourself.
Or you can use bigger pieces that are already connected.
Using bigger pieces is faster. The same happens with English. Instead of learning only decision, learn I need to make a decision.
Instead of experience, learn I have experience in this area.
Instead of agree, learn I completely agree with you.
Let's imagine a conversation. Someone says, what do you think about this idea?
A beginner may translate, what do you think? Meaning, what is the translation? How do I answer?
But a fluent learner already knows phrases. I think it's a good idea. I'm not sure about that. That's an interesting point.
The response comes naturally because the phrase is already stored.
Another powerful technique is connecting English with pictures.
This is especially useful for beginners. Let's take the word dog. When you hear dog, don't first imagine the translation. Imagine the animal, the sound, the movement, the picture.
Your brain remembers experiences better than translations.
Exactly. Think about your childhood. You probably remember places, faces, and experiences, not lists of translations.
Let's practice together. Look around your room. Choose 5 objects, maybe a chair, a phone, a door, a bottle, a table.
Now say, this is a chair. The chair is brown. I sit on this chair every day.
You are training your brain to think directly, not object, native language, English, but object, English.
Now we're going to talk about one of my favorite techniques, self-talk.
Some people hear this and think, wait, talking to myself?
Yes. And no, you are not becoming strange unless you start arguing with yourself in losing.
That happens to Alex sometimes.
I disagree.
See? He's already talking to himself.
Fair enough.
Self-talk means describing your thoughts and actions in English.
For example, I'm making tea.
I'm checking my emails. I'm feeling tired today. I need to finish this work.
You can also talk about your opinions. I like this movie because it is funny. I don't enjoy crowded places. I think learning English takes patience.
The goal is not perfect grammar. The goal is training your brain to produce English.
Here's a simple challenge. We call it the 1-minute English challenge.
Set a timer for 1 minute. Choose a topic. For example, your family, your hometown, your favorite food, your daily routine.
Then speak for 1 minute.
No stopping, no translating, no restarting.
If you forget a word, explain it.
For example, you forget the word umbrella. Don't stop. Say, the thing I use when it rains.
That is real communication. Another powerful method is shadowing.
Shadowing means listening and repeating immediately, like an echo.
For example, listen. I'm really excited about this opportunity. Repeat. I'm really excited about this opportunity.
Try to copy the speed, the emotion, the pronunciation.
Not just the words, the feeling.
Because English is not only vocabulary, it is rhythm, it is expression, it is communication.
Another habit that keeps learners trapped in translation, trying to understand every single word.
Many learners watch a video and think, I missed one word, I need to stop.
Pause. Replay. Pause again.
After 20 minutes, they have watched 30 seconds.
Very productive.
The goal is understanding the message, not catching every single word.
Native speakers also miss words. They use context. They use tone. They use the situation.
A great exercise is quick answers.
Ask yourself simple questions and answer immediately.
Let's try. Sarah, what did you eat today?
I ate eggs and toast.
What is your favorite hobby?
Reading books.
Why?
Because it helps me relax.
Notice something. Sarah did not prepare a speech. She simply responded.
That is how natural conversations work. Before we finish today's episode, we want to remind you of something. Your English journey is not a race.
You don't need to become fluent overnight. Every small improvement matters. The first time you understand a sentence without translating, that is progress.
The first time you answer quickly, that is progress.
The first time you make a mistake but continue speaking, that is progress.
Today, we learned that translation is normal. Your brain is learning.
But you can train yourself to think more directly in English.
Start small. Think simple thoughts. Learn phrases. Listen every day. Speak without fear.
And remember, you don't need perfect English to communicate. You need courage to use the English you already know. Thank you for joining us today on Daily English. If this episode helped you, please subscribe, like, and share it with another English learner.
And comment below, what is the biggest challenge you face while learning English? We would love to hear your experience.
Keep practicing, keep improving, and keep believing in yourself.
We'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.